Greetings, this is Shane Ross, and we're going to talk about how to do offline and online with tapeless formats. The main reason you might want to do this offline-online workflow is that ProRes 422, while a compressed full-resolution format, still takes up a lot of space. And if you have a lot of footage but not much storage space, it might be wise to edit in a lower data rate format. ProRes Proxy has approximately 1/3 the data rate of ProRes 422, and therefore will take up less space on your media drives. Now I'm going to show you a couple of ways to do this. The first way is to use log and transfer. This is the option you use with tapeless formats. If we go up here to preferences, we'll find out which formats log and transfer supports. It supports AVC HD, P2 AVC Intra. Now it also does DVC Pro HD P2, but DVC Pro HD gets rewrapped as DVC Pro HD. It can't be converted to anything else. AVC Intra, while it does come in native, there's no native timeline settings for AVC Intra. You'd have to use a ProRes timeline. And if you install a plugin from Canon, this will support the Canon 5D, 7D, and with a little hack it'll do the T2i. And this will support Red if you install the Red plugin as well. Now for this one I'm going to do AVC Intra because I happen to have that footage on hand. And I'm going to choose ProRes Proxy for it to come in as. And then you click OK. Now I'm going to direct the log and transfer preference here to where my footage is. So to do that, I click in this little folder right here and go to my G drive. I have my demo files, AVC Intro right there, HPX 300, Africa. So I'm going to click Open. And there, I see all of my footage. Now, I don't want to have these odd numbers in here like this. I want to have them have a custom name. Or I can add a name. I can even change the name anything I want to. Doesn't matter. There is metadata on these clips that when come in, no matter what you change the name to, Final Cut Pro will always remember what those numbers are. But I'm going to give a little custom preset. I'm going to have it do a custom name with counter, and I'm going to call it African Expedition, and I'm going to give it a, let me see here, I need to reset the number, edit that one, and I have the number start at 1. There, of course, it can come in as African Expedition 01. So I click on this. I just want to select all, drag them down here. Now it's going to start importing footage. And it's going to give them the custom names, African Expedition 01, 02, 03, and so on. Alrighty, now all the footage has come in. It's come in as ProRes Proxy, as we can see right there, ProRes Proxy 2398. 1920 by 1080, and I've built my cut down here of all these great animals and our sequence settings, as you can see, our Apple ProRes 422 Proxy. Now the reason I've chosen ProRes Proxy is because I do like the fact that the frame size is 1920 by 1080. This means that any stills you've brought in, you've done moves on, will remain the same. All the moves remain the same if you take them to a full resolution project because the frame size is the same. Any graphics will be the same size. You don't have to redo anything. If you had offlined at lower resolution, say DV resolution, and then you try to bring things back in full size, they're going from 720 by 480 up to 1920 by 1080, you're going to have to redo all your moves on stills. You're going to have to redo all your graphics, make sure that they all mesh up. Okay, so what we do now is we take this little rudimentary cut I've gotten here. I've got that, and I now have picture lock. So I click on this, and I go File, Media Manager. Now I don't want to copy this footage. I actually want to do something called Create Offline. This is going to create a new offline sequence with the settings of my choosing, which I'm going to choose here, 1920 by 1080, 24p. Click OK. Then I'm going to delete all the unused media, meaning that if I had a 10-minute clip and I used 1 minute of it, I'm not going to be recapturing the entire 10 minutes. It's just going to recapture the section that I'm using. And I like to have handles, so in case I want to slip things left or right, things might not be entirely locked at that point. It'll give me a little leeway. And I want to exist on regular file names. And then you just click OK. And this will create a brand new project, which I'm going to call Africa Online. Put this on the desktop. Now what this does is it creates a brand new sequence right here that all the media is offline because we haven't captured it yet. We need to recapture it. All of our master clips are right here. And what it's done is it's shortened them so that they're only the duration of the clips that are used in the timeline. And I'm going to bring them in at full resolution now. We need to go to Log and Transfer. And we need to tell Log and Transfer in the preferences that we want to bring in our AVC Intra at ProRes 422 and not ProRes Proxy. So we change that. Click OK. Now we need to connect our drive, the drive that we had all this footage backed up on. We're going to connect that to the system. And then we click on the little icon here to find the folder where this footage is located. Click on the G drive. And then we have demo files, ABC Intra. And there we go, we have the footage. So now here are my master clips, so I want to re-import those. So I highlight all of them, and then I go File, Batch Capture, all the selected items. You can also click on the sequence and do the same thing, and you click OK. And here it goes, it populates the import window and starts bringing them in at ProRes 422. Let's go back here to make sure that they're doing it the same. See, it goes from proxy right here, but as soon as a clip comes in, boom, it's ProRes 422, not proxy. And if we look at our timeline, we see that that clip is now here on the timeline rebuilt. Okay, that's done. Let's close this. We see the master clips have all been recaptured here. They've all been captured at ProRes 422. Our timeline has been rebuilt, and there's no render bar. And our sequence settings are Apple ProRes 422 1920 by 1080. There, done. It's as simple as that. If you have any filters or special effects or plugins, you will need to re-render those. But this is basically how it's done. Okay, now let's take a look at the other way you could do the offline-online workflow. I'm going to look at some footage that I shot with my Canon DSLR camera that I've imported already at full resolution, ProRes 422, but I want to take that and make that into an offline codec to edit with. Now that you might do this when you have to bring in footage at full res only, like there's no option to make it an offline codec, so you bring it in at full res and have that stored on a drive somewhere, and then you edit in low res, you media manage this to low res and then reconnect later. So I'm going to show you how to do all that. So I have some footage here. I'm going to scroll over here and we're going to take a look at it. It's 1920 by 1080, 2398, Apple ProRes 422, and I'm going to make this into an offline codec. Well, I'm going to use the recompress option. So I'm just going to grab some random clips here. Let's just take 20 through 30, and then I'm going to go to the media manager. And we're going to take it from create offline to recompress. And now I'm going to recompress this footage to ProRes proxy. And I'm going to take the duplicated selected clips into a new project. And then it says media destination. Okay, my media is located on this right here, the mini vault. So I'm going to take it to this little G drive here. And let me just make a new folder, offline media, create that. And I'm going to choose that. And then it's going to hit OK. And the name of the project will be San Francisco Visit, something like that. And then click Save. Okay, here we go, all done. So now we have this new project that has all the offline media. As you notice, the clips have the exact same name as the clips in the online, the full resolution media. And if we look on the desktop level, we can see right here, this is the capture scratch with all the full resolution media, San Francisco 20, 21, 22, 23. Same thing over here with the low res media, San Francisco 20, 21, 22, 23. You'll notice that San Francisco 20 right here normally takes up 309.9 megabytes. Over here, it only takes up 96.2, so it's about 1/3 of the space. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the main drive, the full resolution media, offline and only work with the offline media. And as you can see, all of our high-res media is now offline and the low-res media is still online. So now I'm just going to take a little moment here and edit just a quick little something with this footage. Here we go, a quick little something of my family at the Japanese gardens in San Francisco. Alrighty, now if you look at the sequence settings, we have Apple ProRes Proxy 2398 1920 by 1080. Well, now I want to take this sequence and just relink it from this offline media to the online media. And to do that is rather simple. Save this, quit. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this drive that has our offline media on it, and we're going to eject it. And we're going to reconnect the drive that had the full resolution media on it, and then reconnect the project to that full resolution media. Okay, that drive is now online, so let's open up our San Francisco Visit cut. There it is, so we're just going to reset our scratch disk to be the mini. Choose that. Okay, now it comes up that our media is offline. Would you like to reconnect? Well, yes, we will. I'd love to reconnect, so I hit reconnect, and I tell it to search the single location, which is the mini vault, the drive that has all the online media. And I just click search, and it'll find it right away because it's got the same name. And reconnect all files in relative path. Click open, connect. All the footage has reconnected. If you open up the timeline, you'll see that it has reconnected to all that media. But one thing we need to do now, I don't know if you can see this right here, but there's a dark green bar up here, which means that the footage doesn't quite match the sequence. Well, no, it doesn't, because the sequence is set for ProRes Proxy. So we go to Sequence Settings. We change the compressor from Apple ProRes 422 Proxy to Apple ProRes 422 and click OK. This makes that dark green render bar go away. Now the clip settings match the sequence settings exactly. So this is the second way you can do the offline-online media workflow. Only with this method you have to have enough storage to store the full res media already, and you simply reconnect when you're done.